right, we just watched Summer Nights, and now we get to have a Q&A with the team that made it happen. So I'm going to let everyone introduce themselves. So amongst yourselves, decide what order you go in.
I'm Eric Wilson. I'm the writer and director.
Okay, I'm Scout Gutzerson. I played Maggie Godot. I also co-produced the film, worked on costumes, did a little bit of everything.
Hi, I'm Travis Johnson, and I also helped produce the film.
All right, well, let me say that if we had had the privilege of being in the theater this year, I would have loved the audience reaction to your film. I think it's a super well-made independent film. I love it from the start. I love that first scene where you establish the characters and the principal, everybody, and then it's a great ride. And I want to pay you a super high compliment, which is, you know, someone who watches like way too many films during the year for 2 festivals. Like it's over 1,000 a year.
Oh, wow.
A lot of people start with a good idea and then it falls apart at the end. Endings are really hard. And I think you've written a great ending. I mean, no, we don't have to worry about spoilers because this comes after the film. But especially in this era, I think it's a realistic ending and a tragically realistic ending, but appropriate to the story and true to the characters. And so I just think I think an audience would be, people would be throwing up their hands to tell you what a great, how much they enjoyed this and how, you know, even if you didn't give us the happy ending, you gave us an ending that works for the audience.
Yeah.
Something else probably would have felt like a cheat.
Yeah, well, I remember when I was writing it, because I had the idea for the end for a long time. I was like, okay, well, we have to kind of build to this. And I remember writing it and being like, oh, it's so cool that characters all come apart and they come back together, and then we have this ending that kind of ties it up. And I was like, yeah, this is like a cool movie. And then we did the first table read, and we had a lot of the actors were there kind of reading their own parts. And I remember we got to the ending, now when it's not only in my voice, but in other people's voices, and knowing what happens, we got to the ending, and I was like, oh no, I wrote a downer. And that was a big surprise, but we just kind of had to lean into it and just make it as kind of brutal as possible. But yeah, I just remember like that moment of being like, oh no, I didn't mean for it to be like this.
Yeah, I mean, no one sets out, but as tragic as it is, it's still, I don't know how to put this. It's still no, it's really sad. I mean, it's not. It's story structure wise, it works so well that the bad boyfriend causes everything to go bad. And just this lesson, just everything that could go wrong went wrong at that last moment. I love the redemption of the principal, that he's actually trying to help them at that point, because he finally understands that he's been way too sexist in his opinions of whether or not the boys deserve what these young women have, their retribution. They're taking justice in their own hands, which I'm sure audiences are going to love that theme. But you mentioned the table read, so forget my opinions of the film now. Go ahead. I'm sure people watching this would love to hear how you went from script to the point that you got, you know, casted and started doing table reads and got what was clearly a lot of locations, a lot of actors, a lot of challenges for an independent film. You didn't stick 3 people in a room and chill for an hour and a half. So what was the process? Uh-oh, you just froze.
Yeah, cutting off a little bit there. So I was working on, because we did a short in 2017, and so I started writing a slightly longer family drama short. I was like, okay, well, let's see if we can do like a 20-minute thing now. and then finished it, and it wasn't good. And I think it was like the next day or two later, Alamo Drafthouse was playing Ed Wood's The Violent Years. So we went and we saw that. And then the next day I watched Robert Altman's The Delinquents. And I was like, oh, well, if they can do this kind of like low budget teen delinquent film, maybe I can do one. And so I texted Travis and I was like, family drama's done. We're doing a feature now. And Travis was like, okay. And so it just kind of took like, a few months of writing it and then kind of talking to some people about it, kind of constantly talking to Travis and Scout about it. And then what was kind of the next step? Where did it go after?
Well, I will interject here and say that while Eric was writing it, he definitely had the actors in mind. Most of them were friends of ours, and it was something that I think you did semi-unconsciously, but you would tell the people. So Principal Stern was a coworker of Eric's, and so Eric went to Jason Shades and was like, "Hey, I'm writing a role for you in a film," and he was kind of like, "Okay."
He's not an actor. He's just
not
like,
an actor at all.
Yeah, we work at a bookstore. We work at Book People in Austin, Texas, and I just like the way that Jason talks.
He is Principal Stern.
Yeah,
but good.
So I told him, I was like, "Hey, I'm writing a role for you. Are you down?" And he's like, "Yeah, sure, whatever." And then a few months later, giving him the script, and he was like, "Oh, like I have to do it."
He definitely didn't think it was really going to happen.
Yeah,
but he had agreed. So
yeah. But then I was like, so I guess I finished the first draft, and then I would meet with a lot of people. So my friend Dylan, who plays Dylan, the bad boyfriend, he's incredibly smart. So we met with him and kind of talked with him about it. Met with Elizabeth, who plays Gertrude, and she had just like so many great ideas, and she really helped a lot with that character. Yeah. Go ahead.
Oh, and actually, just a really cool note about Gertrude. So Elizabeth was originally being considered for a different role, and Eric met with her over lunch and was talking to her about the project, and she was like, "Yeah, this is all great, but I'm gonna play Gertrude." And she fought so hard for that role because she was like, I'm a Vietnamese actress, and I feel like I don't normally get to see these kinds of roles where I get to be belligerent and angry, and I think
radical.
Yes, so radical. And
it wasn't even fighting hard. It was just her saying like, "I'm going to be Gertrude."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Oh, okay, yeah." Like that's exactly something that Gertrude would do, and like you totally already you already get this character.
And for me, that's when the movie was kind of born. I was like, okay, we have our Gertrude, and she's really a perfect Gertrude.
Yeah, I think is good.
Elizabeth was definitely the catalyst of the film, because when she said she was on board, we met her on the set of Support the Girls. Eric and I were interning on that movie.
Yeah.
And when she agreed to hop on, that really pushed everything, because she had to be.
She
was moving
actress.
to LA.
Yeah.
She was moving to LA that November. So we had to, instead of like having a long time for pre-production, we were like, we have to do this now.
Yeah.
And so that really was like, we're making a film. Let's do this.
Yeah. Yeah. So I guess it was like kind of meeting with the individual people, kind of them being like, yes, all right, I'll do this part. And then me going back and fixing it more to their voice. And then everyone was very cool about rehearsals, because we've never been able to do rehearsals before.
No.
And so I think like every Thursday at 8 p.m., like everyone would come over, we would branch off. And like, because Elizabeth is a real actor, she would kind of have one thing going with like the group of girls, and I would be working with Jason and Nick Gilly, who plays Kyle. Like he's a really great actor, but just like the long shot of Jason and Nick talking outside the hospital, because that's like a 2.5 minute take, and just like we worked on that for weeks, and then it kind of really came together when we were shooting it. So yeah, I guess like we wrote it, started writing in January, got it done by August, filmed end of September.
Early October.
Yeah, early October. Took a break. Like we filmed for 10 days, took a break for a month, and then had pickups of 3 days where we were filming all the long takes and everything.
So pre-production was like a month. If you finished the script in August,
kind of,
and you were rolling at the end of September.
Yeah.
Obviously, it helped shooting. You were well established in Austin, I guess, with enough personal contacts that.
Yeah.
And it sounds like you have a really it sounds like it was the kind of team where if an actor or your DP or anybody just like had a friend with a location that would work, it sounds like this was a real communal effort.
We mostly shot it at people's houses. So, where is it? Where we filmed? We filmed at like an old high school up in Taylor, about like 40 minutes away. So that's the high school. And then we filmed at the old house that we lived at, which I think is like Gertrude's house. And then Dylan's house is Leo, our DP's house. Principal Stern's house is my aunt and uncle's house.
We had Infinite Monkey Theorem, which is a winery here in Austin. That was the coffee shop, and then Liberty Bar,
where is the pinball scenes. So just I think the only place we really had to pay for was like Liberty Bar, right?
In the
high school.
Taylor,
yeah. But then everything else was just kind of like filming outside or filming at a crew member's house.
And then Infinite Monkey Theorem was real nice. They're like, "Oh, you want to film here? That sounds cool."
Yeah, they were really great.
And you said principal was 10 days of shooting, and I imagine the script was, what was it, like 90, 100 pages?
Oh, it was like 65 pages.
65. Oh, okay, so you were like averaging 6-7 pages a.
Yeah, I remember day 10 was awful because we had like 5 different locations that day, right? But then we just kind of filmed it all outside our sound person's house, like
that was the day that we realized that our location was right by a train track.
Yeah. Yeah, that sucked. I guess it was just kind of like what was the question? I don't remember.
It was just that it sounded like it was a real communal effort, that like
Totally.
a community formed around this film.
Absolutely.
And along those lines, I want to bring up, as far as cast goes, besides the performances being great, the chemistry. If you had told me that the 4 to 5 young women acting in this have been doing plays and sketches and like, because their chemistry, it feels like they feel like friends who've been friends since primary, right? I mean, it just works perfectly. So, I mean, how much history was that, or was this just like casting and everyone came together and just clicked?
I don't think anyone knew each other. I mean, well, we knew Dylan interned with us at Austin Film Society, so we've known him for a while. Nick Gilly, who plays Kyle, we knew him in film school, and he was in some of our shorts there. Jason, who's Principal Stern, I mean, we knew him from Book People. But then, I mean, Elizabeth, we met on Support the Girls, and she has a small part in Support the Girls, but I just remember her coming up, I don't know if it was to me or to us, and I don't remember when, but she was like, "Oh, if you guys ever have anything, let me know." And I was like, "Oh, it's really cool you're being nice to the camera PA. Like, there's no reason for you to do that." But I remember that, and then, now it's like anything that I write, I send it to her.
And the girls were
recommendation from Neve, who worked in casting here.
So, Alexandra and Sophia were recommended by our friend Neve, and then Jasmine, I took an acting class just so I could learn something about acting. But then Jasmine, who plays Betty, that's how I met her.
And so the girls, we were all kind of this random group. We didn't know each other. And I remember when we started doing rehearsals at the house, the girls, we would usually break off and do rehearsals in my bedroom. And I remember hanging out in there and doing our rehearsals. It felt really natural. And those nights kind of ended up feeling just like hanging out with friends. And the night that we picked our costumes was the night that I was like, oh, this is really turned into a great group.
Yeah.
I think the hardest I've ever cried in my life actually was the night we wrapped, because I had become so attached to everyone. It was a really, really good group communal effort.
Yeah, totally.
I love them a lot.
And as women actors, when you came together and you're working with this material, I'm sort of feeding you the answer, but I would think that it would just be such a relief and a delight to see these strong characters and these characters who are dealing with oppression and sexism and handling it in a modern way. And
absolutely. I mean, I feel like as Maggie, I couldn't participate in it as much because Maggie is, girl, she's just making some bad decisions. But I know, I mean, for Elizabeth, the night that she was giving her monologue to Principal Stern after they've tied him up, that was a really powerful moment for her. There was like a lot of leading up to that night. And I know that those scenes of trashing the school and the night that we go in at the party and kind of beat up the boys who are attacking Alex. Abby is her character. Yeah, those were all really powerful scenes to film. It was a great experience.
It was powerful to watch, when she got, I actually love the way she throws a drink in the guy's face because she knows he's put something in it.
Yes.
Which, there's all these character defining moments in this film that I think are on par with all the great high school movies that we could all name,
It's great.
Going back. I mean, you name check the 50s, rebel female films, but I mean, there's no getting around the John Hughes. I mean, John Hughes never dealt with this side of youth, but like Breakfast Club gets dark.
Yeah. Oh, it's kind of like a weird movie because it doesn't really have like one. It's hard for me to like have a log line for this film because it kind of goes in so many directions. But I remember people would ask me about it, and if I just wanted to give a short answer, I'd say it's Dazed and Confused, but with a downer ending.
I would say it's Dazed and Confused, but overcoming. I don't know. There's got to be some kind of Me Too sexism. I think your A story is young women who aren't going to take shit anymore.
Yeah, totally. Well, it was
men.
Yeah, I mean, it was weird when we started filming. I think that was when the Harvey Weinstein things were coming out, and so I remember we were filming. We're like, oh, it sucks. This movie's kind of getting more relevant, but now that it's done and it's like being in the time where there's kind of more, like a lot of the protests are happening, and it's like, well, now this movie's kind of taken on a different form from when we were filming it 2 years ago.
Yeah.
So it's really interesting to see like how it's kind of growing as the world's changing.
And I would think if we were in that, someone would raise their hand now and say, "Oh, so you wrote this before the Weinstein stuff broke."
Yeah.
Which means this film is not a reaction to what happened, but it actually shows that there was awareness before that this happens at the high school level. It happens at all levels.
Well, I remember when I met with Alex, who plays Abby, the first time, and she read the script, and I think I told her, I was like, yeah, I kind of read it thinking about Abby. And I remember meeting with her, and she said, oh, I really connected with the script. And I said, oh, I'm really sorry. Like, that sucks. Like, so I think there's a lot of, like, Scott and I had a lot of conversations about it because it's me writing 5 high school women characters, but we had a lot of conversations about it. And I think it's just kind of something that's always there and something that's probably going to still be there for a long time unless some real work is put into it.
And with you writing 5 high school age women, did as you handed it off to the actors, did they get to breathe even more life into it? Was it
Oh, yeah, totally. When we were doing rehearsals and hearing how they are reading it, I think just once they kind of had the script, I could be like, hey, you can say this however you want to, just kind of, push the scene forward and like get the point across, but like say it in your voice and kind of do whatever you want to with it.
Yeah.
You can probably speak more to that.
Yeah, it was definitely like the bones stayed set, but I think the voice shifted a bit to kind of suit us as we were working together. And I'm glad that we had such a long rehearsal process because I think maybe some of that naturally could have been there through improv on set, but because we had really created our own dynamics, it was this really natural, organic evolution.
And you can't start letting people improv if you have 10 days to shoot.
No.
Yeah.
It's going to be a mess.
Yeah.
Or do you have any fun you said the 10 days and then you did pickups, and how was post?
Awful.
Long.
So bad. I mean, well, it was it just took a long time because people are working for cheap or for free, and it's with me being like, oh, we can have this done in like, we can have it done in 2 months. But then the 2 months kind of became a year. And then I was trying to find, like, we did an Indiegogo campaign. So I was trying to like get money for post, and then trying to find a colorist, and figuring out sound stuff. So there's a lot of different things that we're putting into place. But then, you know, when we get to, what was it? When we're getting to the sound mix, and they're like, oh, your Adobe Premiere timeline is all wrong, and you have to go in and put all this sound back. We're like, they didn't tell me this shit in film school. I didn't know about this. Like,
it's a lot of learning.
Yeah, so now we kind of know for the next film how to have things set up so that we're not spending 2 very stressful weeks of like, also like the computers we had just weren't good computers, and we're having to deal with, you know, these huge files. And so it was a lot of running around, and it was really stressful, and like nights of just waking up in the middle of the night and being like, oh, we forgot to do this. So it took a long time.
I think post took like 5 years off your life.
Yeah, probably.
They say you can either use money or time.
Yeah. Oh, we did both.
We did both.
Well, is there anything? I actually do have to wrap it up because we've got another Q&A coming in a couple of minutes. But anything you want to add before we jump?
I don't know. Do we have any fun facts?
We did have a friend who helped us out with post.
A lot of friends who helped us out.
Yeah. Madeline worked for Soundcrafter, and
yeah,
they cut us a deal, and that was, I think, also
nice
good
of
for her.
Yeah.
I think that was her first job as the lead sound mixer.
Yeah,
so.
Madeline, who did all the post sound, she did like the post sound mixing. I knew her in film school, but so when we did the mix, we did it in like 15 hours just straight, and I had an ear infection. So she'd be playing something, and she'd be like, how's this sound? I'd be like, I don't know, one ear doesn't work. So that was really hard. Also, when we were filming the long take where the title card comes in, every time we did a take, we were right next to the Austin Film Society cinema. Every time because Gummo was playing in 35 millimeter.
Oh, yeah.
None of us had seen it, but we wanted to go see it. So we'd finish a take and look at our watch and be like, okay, we got 30 minutes until Gummo plays. Let's try to wrap this up, and I'll go watch Gummo. And long story short, we didn't get to go see Gummo because we had to keep filming.
As can be expected.
Yeah.
Well, again, thanks a lot. I promise you, hopefully, well, I don't know, you're in Austin. I don't know if you've been able to pack a theater during the pandemic or not. It's kind of weird.
Yeah,
but,
well, we did have a friends and family screening that was at AFS that was really packed. So
I can guarantee you, if we had been able to give you, you know, a room with 75 strangers, hands would have gone up, and everyone would have told you that you and your team did a wonderful thing here. It's a very authentic film, and it's exactly what we look for independent, as far as just telling a story and telling it well and saying something that's true. So bravo.
Thank you. I really appreciate that
for you. And I'm so sorry, but I got to run.
All right, man. Thanks a lot. This is great. I'm really bummed that, you know, we can't be there in person, but I guess we'll make another film and then we'll go from there.
Yeah, we'll see
exactly. Make another film.
Yeah.
All right. It was a pleasure.
Yeah. Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
All right. Bye.
Bye.